We are going to do a debt update today, people. So you're going to want to stick around to see all of the details about our debts going all the way back to February 2018 when this all started. So you are not going to want to miss it. Stick around. Hi friends, and welcome to the Budget Bounce. If we haven't met yet, I'm Jen, and we talk all about living life on a budget, saving for our future, and paying down our debt on this channel. If that's up your alley, you're going to want to hit that subscribe button down below, and that way you'll get notified every time I post a new video. Also, make sure and hit the like if you like this one. What we're going to be doing today is talking about the details of our debts. We have a pretty long list of them, a long history with them, and we're just going to do a deep dive to take a look at where we started and how we got to where we are today. So let's jump on over to a spreadsheet. I bet you guys are surprised I have a spreadsheet for this. Yeah, I am a sucker for a good spreadsheet. Just give me an excuse. And of course, I have one for today. So let's jump on over and take a look. So here we have this debt progress spreadsheet that I have been keeping. It's actually in Google Sheets. I've been keeping it for the last few years. I updated it in 2021, but I did not do a debt update video at that time. This is updated through 2022. So let's just talk about the columns. So there's our debts here, which explains exactly what they are, what type they are, like the category that they fall into, whether or not it's paid off, the starting balance on February 1st, 2018, because that was the date that we started living life on a budget and keeping track of these things and trying to work to get out of the hole that we were in. Column E is debts added. So these are things that were added on after I initially started in February of 2018. And then our current balance through April of 2022, and then the total paid off through April of 2022, the payoff date, and any notes that were associated with the debt. So we'll just run through these real quick. You can see, if you look here, I have this first group of all the paid off debts. They're sorted by the date that they were paid off. So in March of 2018, our second month, we got a big tax refund that we did not expect. It was over $5,000. So we used a big chunk of that. We paid off a total of $5,171 that month. I think we were down a little bit from this because we had made 1 month of payments on these, but this is what ended up getting paid off in the month of March. So this included an old IRS tax debt that we had from 2014. This is a credit card, another credit card, and another credit card. And then we had a Trailblazer at the time, and we got that paid off as well. The next month in April 2018, we paid off another medical bill for $273. Then in June of 2018, we paid off $258 for another medical bill. And then we had a third medical bill paid off in July. That was for $126. Then that was about the time that I realized we needed to move our phones that we were paying for on our monthly bills into the debt category. So we moved, I think in May or June, I moved the phones there, and Matt had a broken phone that we were still paying for. And so we got that paid off for $185 in July of 2018 also. And then another medical bill of $287. Then we went a couple of months before we were able to pay off another one, and we did pay off Discover. Discover was one of the first credit card companies that I talked to set up a payment plan because we had not been paying for several months. And surprisingly, that call went extremely well. When I was very distraught when I called. There were a lot of tears. A little bit of our backstory, if you're new here, is that in 2017, Matt became really ill and he couldn't work for 10 months. And it was really scary. And during that time, we weren't able to pay for all of our credit card and debt payments. So this was a big deal when we got to pay this off just a few months later. So that was a total of $955. And then the 401k loan that's listed here, this was Matt's. And it actually went into default because his employment ended, I can't remember. Yeah, in September of 2018, his employment ended at at his former employer. And so this is what he owed on it at the time. So that went to default. So essentially became a distribution or income that we had to pay taxes on the next year. This debt here was actually associated with Matt's illness. And so this was something that was added after the fact. We paid off $302 for that in October. And then we had another medical bill that we paid off in December for $718. And then this card, this Target card, we called and settled this. It was something that they had actually gone to court and sued Matt over. And so we settled it for $640 in December of 2018. The Citi Card Diamond, it was actually listed up here that we originally paid it off. I recall what happened here in around Christmas time. I think it was November or December of 2018, I misplaced my debit card and we weren't using credit cards at all at that point. And the only one that I had in the moment that I realized that I didn't have a debit card and there was a 2-week period before I got it was the only thing I had handy was the Citi Card Diamond. And so I used that to buy Christmas, but because we had gone months without using credit cards, I completely forgot to check this one. It had been, the last time I had to do anything with this was March of 2018. And now it's the beginning of 2019. And I completely forgot that I had this balance. And so anyway, I finally, I realized it I think I had a late fee on it because I forgot about it. And I ended up getting it paid off in March of 2019. And you'll see here, there's another flurry of activity in March of 2019. This would be another refund that we had come in. So we paid off Matt's phone with that as well. My phone at the time, I had bought a brand new, like this is the first time I've ever done this. As soon as it was released, I bought a Samsung Galaxy Note 9 and it was over $1,000. It was down to $967 at the time that we paid it off. So I had it paid off within 6 months and I still have that phone. So I've had that phone for 3.5 years. And, I just like with cars, I just want to drive this thing into the ground because I hate changing computers. And essentially your phone it's a computer. I mean, you're carrying a computer around in your pocket all the time or your purse or whatever. And so 3.5 years I've had this and we've had a couple of discussions about getting a different phone. And I'm like, I don't have a need for a different phone. So that is one area that I don't have a problem with controlling spending on because I hate doing the setup and getting everything where you need it to be. All right, moving on. The other thing that we paid off with that was the Kohl's charge. Now, we didn't owe $3,500 at the time that we paid it off, but it was significant. We got a pretty hefty tax refund again that year. So we paid off the Kohl's card with that, and that had totaled $3,537. It was a few more months before we were able to pay anything else off. This time we paid off my Tires Plus card for $1,746. And then this Citi card here, I actually have a video called My Debt Fail. It's one of my top videos on the channel. It was about my experience with Citi card. This is the one card that I did not get them called to work out a payment plan because I was so incredibly intimidated by them. I didn't get them called to work out the payment plan before they actually went to court with me. They sued me and they served papers at home. And it was very, very traumatic for me. It was just very upsetting. I was, at the time that we started this, I was 45 in 2018. And I had never not paid a bill in my life. So when we started to become unable to pay all of our debt payments every month, it just impacted me so profoundly. So anyhow, this one we paid off in December of 2019 when I got my year-end bonus and we settled that. The total that I paid to that was $8,827. So we just knocked off a little bit of that with the settlement. I paid off my 401k loan 6 months later for $6,068 total. That's not what the balance was at the time. It was down in the 2000s. I can't remember what it was, but that was paid off in June of 2020. I had taken that out in, I think, July of 2016. Medic EMS. This was an ambulance. It took almost 2 years. It was an ambulance ride at the end of November 2018 when I got into a car accident. and the insurance company did not bill us correctly, and it took almost 2 years to work it out. We ended up not having to pay anything, but it was a debt in the meantime so that we wouldn't get sent to collections that I was paying on. So they eventually paid, so $659 got paid off. This is one of Matt's child support orders, and it was originally $11,027. We got that paid off in May of 2021 after there was something changed in the state of Illinois with child support and interest accrued, and it was effective January 1st, 2021. And Matt had a lot due in back child support and more so interest. He owed so much interest on the back child support that he wasn't able to pay for many years. And so, he was able, for many years, he had been paying the regular support, but the arrears, the back support was just getting chipped away at just very, very little every month. And so they were tacking interest onto that, and something changed with the rules with that. And they knocked over $16,000 off of his total child support balances. And that's why we were able to pay this off in May of 2021. There was so much interest tied to this one. Almost all of it was interest and only a few $100s in support. So by May, we were able to pay it off. So that was a total of $11,027. This was Care Credit. This was another one that we went into, I had to call and set up a payment plan on. And we got that paid off in July of 2021 for $2,779 total that was paid. The Lowe's card then was just paid off last December of 2021, so just a few months ago. The total on that was $9,006 when we started, and we finally got done with that. I'd been paying $190 a month on that for well over 3 years. That's another one that I set up a payment plan on. So the total that we have paid off that's in the rearview mirror now is $56,854. And while I was doing this exercise, I realized that there were two things on this list that I did not have in my monthly budget template showing as paid off. So that has been updated, and you will see that in May when I do my May 2022 budget report. All right, now moving down here are things that are not paid off. So these things in blue here, these are actually credit cards that belong to Matt. And if you have seen our budget videos, you know that I have a subsection in the debt section called charged off, or in collections, really. I think is where we're at this point. So we get letters in the mail about this all the time. Like none of these companies own these debts anymore. I think they've all been sold off. So we get inquiries all the time about paying these off. Matt has asked me not to make that a focus. I mean, that was his deal from the very beginning. And so we are not paying on these. There's no interest accruing, no fees or anything like that at this point. And that is a total of $5,802. And this is reflected in our budget spreadsheet. You can see it in the debt section. Now, the rest of these are the things that we're paying on actively right now. And this first one, and the way I have these sorted right now, and just like with these, it's lowest to highest balance is how I have these sorted. I did the same with our actively paying. So right now, as of the end of April 2022, going into May of 2022, we owe $981 on this Capital One card for Matt, and they sued him. And so he had to call and whoever the legal firm was and set up the payments with them. And I believe this one is $90 a month that we pay. Yeah, we've paid $270 so far, $90 a month. And so, the estimated payoff for this is going to be around March of 2023 if we don't make any extra payments. And then this is another child support order. This one is just about done. The balance is $1,192, and Matt pays $451 and change to this every month. So you can see it started pretty hefty. It was his biggest balance for child support. He had over $50,000 when we first started that included support and interest, and a very large chunk of that was interest as opposed to being the support itself. So the support, by the way, is paid for all of them. The support is long gone and done. We're down to $1,192 with this child support order, and this should be paid off, and it will be paid off in July of this year, of 2022. So we're excited because that's he pays $456 a month to that, and $456.90 a month to that. So it includes a $5 service fee that he has to pay on each support order each month. So that's going to be gone. $456 will be cleared up in minimum monthly payments. The next one is a Gourmand's credit card. Again, another one that the same law firm as this one got a hold of this one and sued Matt. And so that total was $2,829, and he's got that down to $1,469. And he has a total of, if he doesn't pay anything extra, he'll have that paid off in October of 2023. Then this is the last child support order. This started at $11,346. We're down to $2,356. And so this one is, he only pays like $82 a month towards it. And so that one's going to be done in July of 2024 if he doesn't pay anything extra to that. And they make it's kind of difficult to do payments through the state. So I don't know if we'll pay this off early or not. All right, the next one is another credit card. This is one that went to collections, and it actually went to collections, and I had to set up a payment plan. And so this is down to $2,445, and it's only $25 a month. So if I don't ever pay anything extra, we're like years and years out before it's going to be paid. At some point, I will pay this off. There's no interest or fees on it, so I've been focusing more on things that we have to pay interest on. This is Matt's private student loan. It started at $5,765. It's down to $4,916. Okay, so this is very telling. We've paid $849 off on this thing. You guys, we are just short of paying, we've paid 8 years. 8 times 12 is 96. We've made 94 payments on this, and we've only paid $849. Is that right? 8 times 12 is 96. Yeah. We've paid less than $10 per month average on this because of the interest on this private student loan. So with the next line item, we have our one vehicle that we have car payments on. And this is our Traverse that we own. And it started out at the time in February of 2018, it was $32,656. Now it was like $37,000 or $8,000 when we first bought it because we didn't put anything down on it. We're now at $9,444. And, even with interest, we're paying over $500 a month off on this every month. So this will be paid off if we don't do anything extra with it. It'll be paid off in October of 2023. This is the HELOC that we took out 2 years ago about now, and we took it out to get our credit card interest down, and it worked. It did work. We paid off the credit card, and the interest went way down from, it was like 17.99%, and it went down to 6.25 for this HELOC. The mistake that we made, and this is again things that I'm struggling with recently, is that is the same card that I have just jacked up again with my spending spiral that I've been in. So the balance on that today is $13,764. So that is a 5+ years endeavor. If we only make minimum payments, then we'll be more than 5 years before we pay that off. This is the credit card that I paid off with the HELOC, but now I have racked up another $14,520. I originally thought it was at $15,300, but there were some pending payments that I didn't see when I set up the May budget. So if you've seen my May budget setup and you're like, wait, that's not the same number, this is the actual number, $14,520. And I have updated the May budget to reflect that. And right now we're paying $400 a month, and there's about $200 a month in interest on it. And the interest rate's a little lower than it was because for some reason they knocked it down. It's at 16.24 now, but here we are again. So here are Matt's student loans. This is for his graduate program that he's in right now. This is new debt again. And I forgot to make a point of, the debts that were added after we started in 2018. We've got these new ones down here. The graduate student loans, for sure, they're all federal, so we're not paying anything on them right now, but $17,084. And then this is what we owed my parents for a family loan, and we are down to $39,300 on that. And then student loans, undergrad student loans. This was what he took out. This is the interest that was tacked onto it before the interest free started 2 years ago. So he owes $51,631. We've made one $150 payment during this time. All right, so let's take a look at these totals. So where we started in 2018, $255,493. Debts added were $43,218. These are non-mortgage debts that were added. Total $43,218. Current balance through April 2022 with all those payments applied is $164,579, and total paid off through April of 2022 coming into May, $134,132. Now, I also included lines that show our mortgages. And so we do have two because we have our primary residence. And at the time that we bought this, we didn't have to sell our other house. So we ended up keeping it. Long story short, we ended up keeping it. And so we have two mortgages. And so the first one of our primary residence is $176,409 is our current balance. And our second mortgage is, the balance is $86,602. And so if you look at adding all of these three numbers together, that brings you to $427,590 in debt that we have. So 164 of that, 164.5 is non-mortgage consumer debt. And then the rest is the mortgages. So, and when you look at what the total paid off is, when you look at when we add in what the mortgage payments have been, then we've paid off $151,530. So this is our snapshot of where we are. These numbers, by the way, have all been updated in the May budget, and you'll see all of that in the May budget report. So I've changed up a little bit how I represent things in the debt totals at the bottom to try to help me and anyone watching be clear on what's what, basically. We don't show the mortgage balances inside of that budget template, but I do include all of these. All of these numbers have been updated. So that is our 2022 debt confession, I guess, if you will. It's our progress on where we are 4 years into, living life on a budget. Through this, we have, up until the last year or so, we had not had any new credit card debt, up until this happened. And we have paid for a lot of life that has happened. Just, things happen and you need to have money to take care of those things, a lot of unexpected things. And we were very successful at that for 3 years. While this is good progress, we, with all the things that came up that were unexpected, plus we were trying to save some of that, during that time, we had, Matt and I both had leaves of absence that were unpaid. We did eventually get some short-term disability for that, but it did not cover everything. All of those types of things happened, and, we were able to get through those without the stress that happened in 2017 when Matt became ill and was unable to work. While we haven't paid off as much debt as we would have liked, we have been successful in other areas. It's kind of like when you're trying to lose weight and you have non-scale wins, it's not, your wins aren't always based on the number on the scale. A lot of times there are other wins that are happening, and that's what has happened with us. Now, could we have paid off a lot more than $134,000 during this time? Absolutely. Absolutely. We are not gazelle intense by any means, but we have paid off $134,000. So I am proud of us for making that progress. And whatever your numbers look like, just every time you take the steps forward, even if you have to go backwards, because something comes up, as long as you end up a little bit ahead, then you're making progress. And that's how we have made a total of $134,000 in payments to get rid of debts over the last 4 years. So with this, I hope that you find this inspiring to, focus on whatever your goals are, whether they be paying off debt, saving for your future. Maybe you're saving up for a big purchase like a home or a car or something like that. I just wish you all the best in whatever your financial goals are. And I appreciate you being here, and I will see you next time.